And basically what I'm going to do is ask you a couple questions about John, and basically I want from your own words what happened that night. You're good with that? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, has John ever been aggressive?
No, never.
I wouldn't say John's an aggressive kind of guy.
He's never aggressive.
No, I wouldn't say so. He's probably one of the calmest guys I know.
That's how you describe him, calm?
Yeah, I'd say calm. He's usually the funniest guy in the room.
I've known John for a long time now.
I've known him for over 5 years at this point.
Known him for a few years.
So he's never shown any violent tendencies?
No.
I've never seen him do anything violent.
How did Ki Jun die?
He fell off the balcony.
Falling off a balcony.
He just fell. It was just like a freak accident.
It was a terrible, tragic accident.
Freak accident. Entirely.
From what we gathered, it seemed like Ki and John actually hated each other. Would you say that was the case?
I wouldn't phrase it that way.
Maybe Key hated John, but John doesn't hate anybody. John's always a positive guy.
No, that's not true.
I don't think he has hatred in his heart.
They weren't friends.
I mean, I know they didn't get along very well.
I'd say Key hated John more than John hated him.
John was not involved in Ki falling.
No, he wasn't. Yeah. John wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a false statement. John barely knew him. I barely knew him.
Key wasn't really friends with anyone.
Key just didn't have a likable personality. He didn't get along with anybody.
It's kind of the odd one out.
He's just kind of off.
Said some weird things.
Like what?
Well, I can't think of it off the bat.
He's a weird guy. Like, he could be suicidal. I'm not sure. I don't know much about him.
Because people are saying it was a suicide, I've heard.
It probably was, yeah.
He was a weird guy, but suicidal? No. I mean, is it possible? Yeah. I think it's more likely than John killing him.
He was violent towards John, and he was scary towards John.
Scary towards John? How so?
Like when he pulled the knife.
We found a small pocket knife beside Key's body. Do you know anything about that?
Who told you that? Did Andrew tell you that?
Who told you that? Or
So you didn't see Key pull a knife on John?
I mean, now that I, think about it.
Oh, yeah. Key might have pulled a knife on John.
Key pulled a knife, and John wasn't gonna stand there and just get stabbed.
I think he was trying to stab John.
There were bruise marks on Key's face indicating that he actually got into a physical fight before he fell. Do you think John could have been the one to give him those bruises on his face?
How do you know those bruises were from the altercation? Couldn't it have been him falling off and, the way he landed?
I don't know, it must have been from the fall. Nothing he did that night provoked Key. John and Key were yelling at each other, but they definitely weren't, fighting. John hitting him? That's self-defense.
I don't think they talked to each other at all that night. I didn't talk to each other at all, I don't think.
Him getting punched and maybe tripping backwards and falling off the balcony?
He didn't... It was never his intention, or he never...
Yeah, so maybe what I'm saying isn't right, but this is from my perspective. From my perspective.
Man, this whole situation's fucked up.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? John killed Key. He pushed him off the balcony.
Yeah, Key pulled a knife.
Because John beat the shit out of him. What do you expect Key to do?
So John's our friend. You want him to go to prison?
No, I don't want him to go to prison, but I can't let Key's death be on our hands.
So what are you saying?
So, Eric, you have more to tell us about this incident?
Yeah, I do.